All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to CE185. Who is super excited? Yay! I'm so excited because this is my very first class that I'm teaching at Escoffier. So I'm uber excited to start off with you guys. Thank you, Roy. So a little bit about myself, since I'm brand spanking new. It's only fair I should introduce myself. I am born and raised from Massachusetts. So don't worry, even if you are a Yankees fan, I'll still talk to you. So don't worry. I won't spit in your food or anything. It's all good. And then I actually started off doing horses. And then when I did horses, I decided to switch paths and ended up going to culinary school because my dream was to run a bed and breakfast. So
go Red Sox.
Haha, nice, right? And then I traveled all around the world, and that's the beautiful thing about this, having the culinary certificate, because you can go anywhere. So it's so great. I've been to, New Zealand, Australia, England, Europe, like different places in Europe. It's so great. And then I ended up making my way over to Colorado, where I've been for the past, like 14 years. And then I've been everything from a baker to line cook, catering chef, event planner, executive chef, all the way up to being the executive chef and general manager of a bed and breakfast. And I did that. We had a special event center along with it, and I did that for about 8 years. And then once my son was born, I switched and then started teaching. And now I get to teach you guys. And then Chef Suzanne will also say a little bit about herself. So go, Chef Suzanne.
Awesome. Did you play your game and I missed it?
Nope, not yet. I waited just for you.
Oh, wait. So am I going first?
Well, we're going to do this. We're going to talk, and then we're going to
introduce myself. Okay.
And then we're going to play the game.
I actually met some of these folks last night, which is very exciting.
Ooh.
So I am Chef Suzanne Lasagna. I am actually in Texarkana, Texas. I have worked in the industry for quite a while. I went to culinary school in Kentucky. So I've lived in 6 different states, I think. I have done a little bit of everything myself. Also, I have been an executive chef, a banquet and catering chef. I was an instructor at a culinary ground school for about 10 years. Worked in fast food, fine dining, convention centers. So I've done a little bit of everything myself. So, and now I'm here and I love it.
Nice, very nice. Now, since Suzanne and I introduced ourselves, we are going to play a little game. Let's see how well you guys paid attention. We are going to play, Suzanne and I, 2 truths and a lie. How many people have played 2 truths and 1 lie before? Raise a hands. Yes, yes. We're going to say 3 things. 2 of them will be true. 1 of them is going to be a lie. You have to figure out which one is going to be the lie. So, first one for me. I love Japanese anime. I have watched it so much that I really should know how to actually speak Japanese, but sadly, I do not. Number 2, I went bungee jumping with my sister while in New Zealand, because, New Zealand has the biggest bungee jumping part. That was like the original bungee jumping area. And then 3 is, while I was in Australia, I was actually with the Olympic equestrian team. So which one, and equestrian means horses for those who don't know. So which one do you guys think is my lie? And this is where you speak up.
The first one.
The third one.
Bungee jumping.
The third one.
The third one. I heard third
Bungee
one.
jumping. Bungee jumping.
Bungee jumping. Amy said
You know,
bungee
it's
jumping.
anime.
The Japanese.
Inspector.
The Japanese.
Bunny jumping.
What was that last one?
Funny jumping.
So, my lie is in fact the bungee jumping. No way. I am throwing myself off of a cliff. No, thank you. And you may think like, yeah, and you may think like, oh, anime, really? But yeah, I'm a huge Naruto fan. Bleach, I could get into it if it wasn't so long, but man, that sucker goes on forever. And then for the Olympic team, you know, that's when you have that change of heart of like what you want to do when you, like for a profession, when you're at the field where they're having the horse show and showing you the jumps and you walk up and one of the jumps is a car, like a literal car, Volkswagen Mini Beetle that you have to jump over. That's when you think, you know, maybe I'm good. I don't need to prove myself anymore, that kind of thing. So, Chef Suzanne, you are up.
All right. So my first one, two truths and a lie. My first one, I spent a weekend as a professional wrestler, right? So sometimes you can buy those weekend kind of deals. And so I got to be a professional wrestler because it's something I've enjoyed since I was a kid. All right, so my second one, I was an extra in a zombie movie that has been on TV and was at the movie theaters and actually was an extra in a zombie movie. And my last one is I own a set of swords off of Long John Silver's restaurants' front doors. Remember those when we were kids that had giant swords on the doors? One of my most prized possessions, my swords. So, which one is it?
Zombie movie. I don't believe we've been in a zombie movie.
Wrestler.
Wrestler.
First one.
Wrestler.
Swords.
Wrestler.
Wrestler.
And the answer is, I have never been a professional wrestler. I was indeed an extra in a zombie movie. If anybody's ever heard of Humans versus Zombies, I was in that as an extra. And I do indeed have a set of swords from Long John Silver's because I did say I worked in fast food, and they're one of my favorite things I own.
Nice, nice. Now, Lisa, I see that you have your hand up. You have the floor. What is your question?
I was wondering, because my daughter is in the class also, but she's having trouble logging in. I was wondering if anyone was having trouble getting on the site because for some reason she's not able to log in. She is also in this class.
Did she try logging in on a different, like instead of using Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, or anything like that? Did she try a different web platform?
She doesn't have that option. She's at home. Yeah, she's at home.
I would say then to try to close out and then try to restart everything and then try to get back in. And then you know, click on the link again.
Okay, because she's trying to download the app again and everything for the new app that they say to download. I'll let her know.
Okay.
I don't want to keep you too long. Okay.
No, you're fine. But yeah, if she has problems, just let us know. And
Okay,
then
thank
we can
you.
ask Chef Suzanne to do a little investigating in Slack for us too, to see.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. So you guys may be wondering, why are we playing this game, right? You're like, what is this about? So how many think that you would have been able to answer the question better if you had more information? If you were able to actually ask questions? How many? Raise your hand. Yeah. Yes. And That is what is so important about making certain that you have all the information that you need to help create your menu, because you don't want to have those type of questions for your customer to have to be thinking while they're sitting there looking at your menu, wondering, what is this place? Is it casual dining? Is it fast food? What am I supposed to be looking at here? Right? Because you want to make certain everything's consistent. And that's where you guys come in to be able to make sure that everything you have is communicated. It has to be communicated both verbally and written down, right? So now I am going to share my screen with you guys. Everybody see that okay? Yes? Yay! Okay, good. And then we are going to go over week 1. So if there's not good communication, this is what can happen, right? When you have so many people looking at it. I love this little thing because this is how the customer explained it. And these are all the different ways that people could end up potentially looking at it. That's why it's so important to make certain that you are clear and concise and you have your concept down, because it can be difficult to be able to talk about your concept and you can speak it very well and you know it, but then taking that concept and then putting it on Word and putting it in paper, that can get tricky, right? How many people have that problem where they know it and they see it in their mind, but then when they go to write it down, it's like, ugh, like they can't quite get it. Do people have that problem? I'm seeing nods, yep. So this is what you don't want to happen, right? You don't want to end up with this type of scenario where you had this whole vision and then this is what the customer really needed. So, and this all goes back to the moments of truth. Now, many of you may have not ever heard of a moment's truth before, but it's very, very important, especially in our industry. We are a service industry. Already, only 10% of the population is born to serve. That's you guys. And moments of truth, that is part of the service industry. It is the first moment or many moments of that interaction between your business and your customer. Not you, your business and your customer. And this all has to go back to, once again, your menu. Because how many people go out to dinner and before you go out, what platforms do you guys use to look up if you want to go to that place or not? You can speak up. What places do you guys?
Yelp.
Yelp. What else?
A restaurant site.
Restaurant site. So what are you looking at when you see the restaurant site?
Their menu.
Exactly. Right? You're looking at their menu. You're going to figure out right then and there if you want to go there. Because that is the what?
TripAdvisor.
TripAdvisor. That's another great one, right? Because you're looking.
That's how I found Pinky's in San Juan with my mom.
Nice. Yeah, and that is where your moments of truth come in, because your moment of truth is going to be, especially in this technological world, that first moment of truth is going to typically be on the tiny computers that all of us carry around with us, right? So you want to make certain that it's clear on here as well as on the paper that is presented to them when they're at your establishment. Now you also have, right, that moment of truth of when that customer is actually sitting down at your establishment. Did you tell your wait staff to, talk up one of the specials? Did you tell them to be like, oh yeah, I really tried to sell this tonight? Because they're going to be the ones that are trying to talk up your specials and get that sale for you. So that's another part of the moment of truth. And then it goes once again to when they're eating, right? Did the actual meal meet the expectations of the customer? Did they like what they got? That kind of thing. So how many people have heard of moments of truth before? Anybody? Anybody? No? But that's okay. That's why you're here, right? You learn something new every day. It's super fun. Now, we talked about making sure customers' expectations are met. The expectations are key because say you go into a place that looks like it's high end. It looked like their concept is, you know, they have this beautiful concept of, you know, elegant lighting. Everything looks beautiful. And they have this really fancy burger on the menu. And it says how, like, you have this vision in your mind of how it's going to be giant. And then the burger comes out and it looks like some squashed thing straight from a fast food restaurant. What would your expectations, like, would your expectations be met, or would you feel like you did not get your value out of it, right? Exactly, Amy. Yeah. You're not going to be happy with those expectations. So, and in our industry, the tangibles and the intangibles, those combine to make our products. And your tangibles would be the things that you can touch. So what's something that you would touch? Anything that you could touch? What would that be? And go.
Food items, plates, silverware.
Yep, exactly. Plates, silverware, what else?
The menu itself.
Yeah, the menu itself. They are touching that menu. Yes, what else?
The cups for the drinks.
Yep, cups for the drinks. Exactly. What else do you think it is? What else would be a tangible? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last one.
The atmosphere.
The atmosphere is actually the intangible, right? Because the atmosphere, while it may be made up of tangible things, that turns into an intangible because it's that sense and that feeling that you get when you're experiencing your meal or when you're in that establishment. So think about Disney. They have a lot of merchandise, right? They have their parks, they have the movies, but that intangible item is that sense, like that sensation that you get when you're watching the movie, when you're in the park. Like you have that feeling, you know, that magic has happened, right? And that is part of Disney. They have all of those tangibles, but then they have that experience and they combine, and that makes your product. So when you think about your concept is going to help define what your intangibles and your tangibles are going to be, so you can combine and make that product. Because if you say you're going to be a like Michelin star rated, you know, super fun restaurant, and you present them with plastic forks and knives, that doesn't quite match, right? Their experience isn't going to match their expectations and what they want. Because you wouldn't want that, right? You would want to make sure that everything is equal. Everything is meshed together and it's consistent.
Cohesive. I love the word cohesive. We talked about that earlier, right? Everything needs to be cohesive.
Exactly, Chef Suzanne. Like everything needs to be the same. Like the cohesive is key because you need to make sure it's always consistent. It has to be consistent for every single customer. And that's also where your menu comes into play, because you need to make certain that if you're going to be a high-end place, your menu needs to match that high-end feel. And it also will go into your price, right? Because like how much are you going to be pricing everything out? If you go to a fast food joint, would you expect to pay $50 for that burger that we talked about? No. Yeah. How much would you guys want to pay for a burger from a fast food joint?
$3.
$5 minimal.
$5. I heard $3, I think, from Mandy. Right? So that's why it's so important that you have your concept down and you've communicated it properly, because it needs to be able to immerse in your business plan, in your menu, in the food that you're going to be providing, in the clients that you want to attract. So it's very, very key. And now, for places, I gave you guys 3 areas: La Crêperie and French Bakery, the Koji Korean Barbecue Taco Truck, and then Flynn's Irish Pub. So out of all of those places, for La Crêperie and French Bakery, what would your expectations be, and what do you think would be on their menu?
Pastry.
Pastries. What kind of pastries?
Crepes.
French.
Any kind of French pastries.
Grapes, berries, fruits.
Like it.
Crepes, berries, fruits. Good. What else do you think you would want on that menu?
French macaroons.
So I have a question.
Yes.
This is actually very similar to our assignment, if not identical, and I was a little confused by it. I wasn't sure if you wanted us to give examples of different menu options that would be under, or you just wanted us to describe what types of dishes they would be. It wasn't very clear in the assignment.
I know, and that's why we're talking about it now, right?
Is this is the assignment? I mean, well, different restaurants.
Yeah, this one's
Okay.
different restaurants, but we're going through it now to give you
Okay.
guys the idea.
So you want like for us to kind of create like an example of different menu options it would be, or?
Yeah, and I'm going to have Chef
Okay.
Suzanne.
All right,
talk about
sounds
that
good.
too.
I'll let you do it.
No, you're good. That's a great question, and this is why it's so awesome to come to live sessions, right? Chef Suzanne, did you want to add some?
Do you want to? Yeah. For the assignment, we'll go into it a little bit more here towards the end. But basically, what you're going to do is you don't have to come up with menu items or anything. You're just going to explain your thoughts on what type of menu that each one of these is. And we're going to talk about types of menus here in just a second.
Yep, we will. And then what would you expect from a French bakery? Would you expect to see a bunch of, would you expect to see cornbread?
No crepes.
Yep,
No,
crepes.
danishes, croissants.
Yep,
The little
exactly.
French macaroons.
And little French macaroons, right? And then what about the Korean barbecue taco truck?
Korean barbecue. It's in the name.
But what else? It also says taco truck. So what else are you expecting?
Chicken tacos.
It's Korean fusion, so it would be like a mix of a taco with their type of flair.
Fresh
nachos, taco, barbecue tacos,
Korean food.
Ooh, kimchi, yes, because this one he does a fusion. Chef Roy Chow, he is a master like in LA of like he has like a taco fleet, or like food truck fleet, and he does all of these different infusions. And then what about Flynn's Irish Pub? What do you want?
Pie.
Pub food.
Pub
Any kind of
food?
bar food.
What type of
Wings, fries,
pie? What else?
beer.
on beef.
Irish beer.
Irish beer. Now, if it was true Irish, do you think you would see any blood sausage on there?
Oh, yum.
Yes.
I hope so.
Probably.
But
Right.
it also depend on your target market, right? Because how many people in the US do you think would actually try out blood sausage versus being in Ireland doing it?
Corned beef and cabbage.
Ooh, corned beef. You know, corned beef and cabbage is actually originally started off as a Jewish dish. But then once everybody immigrated to the US, that's when the Irish kind of took it over. Isn't that a fun little fact? I
Now,
love
you
that
could
one.
probably find blood sausage on their menu if there was an Irish community nearby.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you got to know your target market, right? You got to know how much they're going to expect this. Because if this was in Southie of Boston, where this actually is, it's a giant Irish community, right? Thick Boston accent, it's big Irish community. Now, what if Irish pub was going to be, say, in, where's a good spot? Alaska.
Maybe not blood sausage.
You wouldn't see
Corned
chips.
Corned crab legs and cabbage.
Crab legs and cabbage. But you got to remember too, there's a bunch of hunters up there, right? My friend actually, he runs a wilderness. He like does a wilderness adventure, and there's a lot of hunting up there too. So
tourism.
Any kind of wild game.
Yeah, they could do instead do like a wild game blood sausage or something, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, since we talked about that, we're going to go over now some of the different styles of menus that are out there, right? Because you have all the different versions. We got like a la carte menu where, you know, everything is sold separately because, you know, it's a fancier fine dining establishment. They're gonna, you know, have that steak be on its own, and then you're gonna also have to pay individually for all those sides, right? Because that's how that price gets hiked up. It's all about the sides for that kind of thing too. So these are two examples of doing a different type of a la carte menu. And then we can get into, if you do these bad boys, how many people have seen this kind before? Nobody? Nobody?
No, I've never seen it.
Chef Suzanne, have you actually used these kinds during your caterings and stuff?
Not exactly like these. Maybe like brunch menus can be kind of like this sometimes in different places I've been at.
Yeah, and you can think about like your, you know, like your tasting.
Some of these in bars.
I'm sorry?
I see some of these in like, there's a bar in downtown Brooklyn that serves, when they serve brunch for this, like if you're gonna watch a concert or something, they serve something, they give us something like this.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I would, yeah, if you're going to see a concert, I could see that too. Yeah. And then
what I've been to restaurants that were they were family style.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where things, it's not plated. It comes out in dishes and you serve yourself from the dishes.
Yeah, and there's actually some awesome like Amish restaurants that I miss from when I went to school in Ohio, and because yeah, their food was delicious, and they did full family style, and it was, you know, it came to the table.
The best one I've been to is the Dough Run Inn. It's in Kentucky, and it's back off in the middle of nowhere, and it's like you sit with strangers and in this big old house next to a stream. It's great, but that was the first time I got exposed to that, so it was fascinating.
Yeah, right.
We were all sharing food. Where it was
well, and then you can also think of like your tasting menus, because those tasting menus always kind of change, right? It goes with the season, what's in, what the chef is expecting to do that week. They will end up doing this style so that there's a theme. So it's not like you're going to go and have, you know, a ravioli and then doing a like a soba noodle dish afterwards. Like you don't have, it's always in a theme to keep it, because they're trying to make certain that your taste buds are always being enhanced by each different part of the entree, like each different part, so that not of the entree, sorry, but of the courses, because it should build upon it, right? So you're trying to build the taste and the flavors and make them all kind of coexist together. And then we have the smaller ones, and you gotta love all the pictures, because you know these ones are great, especially if you don't know like boba tea and that kind of thing. It's usually called bobo tea. I think it's funny that they call it it's interesting they called it pearl milk tea. I haven't seen it like that before, so I like picking that out. And then you know it's smaller because they may have decided to make it a smaller place. It's going to be more condensed. They're going to really focus on these key entrees. They're going to make them so that it's going to be perfect, because these, like especially this kind of place, chances are they may be making everything, you know, they're trying to make everything in-house as much as you possibly can, right? How many people have seen these kinds before? I see Austin. Anybody else?
It kind of reminds you of the menu in a Chinese buffet or something.
The like menu style for like the different Chinese. Yep. Well, this one especially, right? The snowflake combo.
Yeah, it looks kind of like the hibachi menu.
Yeah, because, and it's like some places, you know, for Asian places that serve pho, they're just primarily doing pho. So you get to choose. And for people who don't know what pho is, it's pretty much just like their version of a noodle soup. So is it going to be chicken pho? Are they going to do the meatball pho, fish, steak, pork? So, you know, that's part of their concept, is they just want to focus on that one dish, but they have different variations of it. So it's that kind of style, and it's always delicious. For those who have not had pho, I am a big pho fan. Love it. And then we have our cycle menu. So you'll see these in a lot of cafeterias, right? How many people have kids? Yep. Anthony, saw you put your hand up.
Yep, I have 5. Yep.
Oh dear Lord, you have 5? Whew. Ooh, bless your heart. Gabriel, I think I just saw a hand up. Was it Gabriel? I think I just missed you. And Lisa, I see you guys have hands up. What's going on?
And you have a question, how many kids you have? I actually have 12 grandchildren.
Ooh, you have 12 grandchildren?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah. I'm starting my career late.
That's hey, it's always fun to try new things, right? Learn something new. Got to be a lifetime learner. Okay.
Massachusetts, and I'm here in South Carolina.
Nice. Nice. And then who else had their hand up? Hold on. Sorry. I'm missing you in the little chat box. Whoever had their hand up, just start talking.
Oh, me.
I'm like, where are you? I'm trying.
I have my hand up.
Okay. What was your question?
Hey, curious about, I don't mean to jump off track, but you're just touched on about being in Ohio and the Amish style. Were you just like in with the Amish, or did they have a restaurant?
No, they actually had a restaurant, because I went to school, and because I did horses, you know, we traveled all around different locations, and there's different Amish communities in Ohio and Pennsylvania, and they actually have their own restaurants, and they do family style where everybody just sits at the big old table, and it's all like, you know, and they put the food down, so it's all big old platters of stuff right on the table, and everybody shares it. Yeah.
I live in Ohio and I'm surrounded by Amish, and that would be really cool to experience.
Yeah, and yeah, and I was in like Painesville, Ohio, and it was close. It was close around that area. So if you're curious.
I'm in northwest Ohio, like Toledo.
Oh, nice. Yes. Yeah. So it was on the other side. Yeah. But I would look because they were delicious. They were fantastic for that stuff.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. Thank you.
Yeah. And then for those who have kids, right? You're going to see this style where they always come home with this is their type of menu. This is what's going to happen Monday through Friday. This is what you're getting. And they're rotating on what they actually have that comes in. And you'll see that a lot in the casual or schools, that kind of thing. And then we have these bad boys that are more casual, right? And you guys are used to seeing these ones, correct? Have you guys all seen these ones before?
Like the Waffle House menu.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Waffle House menu, right? And then we have, for those who are food truckers, we have the actual chalkboards, right? And how many food truck people do we have with us? Trying to see. Raise your hand, food truck people. Not too many. Oh, I see a couple. Okay. Yep. You're gonna have this kind, right? But now, say if you actually had, and du jour. Always remember, du jour is French for today. So do not put today's special or today's soup du jour because you just wrote today's special today. So make sure, just if you're going to use du jour, that means that's today's menu. You don't have to put today's menu today. And then, but this is the type of thing. Would you expect to see this style in like the French Laundry, who's a 5-star restaurant? Would you expect to see this kind of menu out front?
No way.
Nope. Right?
You do see it in some ways are much more high end than that, but like when they have like the catch of the day or that kind of thing, you see it because they have to change it, and the market day price. I love it when they put market day for the price. That cracks me up.
Yeah, and that's true because that would be outside, but that's not their whole menu, right? That's not going to be the whole concept, and it's yeah, and that's going to depend on the style of place because a more casual place will do it, but maybe not that high dining place, So that's something to always consider. And then this brings us into the awesomeness of your guys' assignment this week. Because we're not done yet. We still have the assignment. And I'm going to let Chef Suzanne talk a little bit more about that assignment with you guys.
Awesome. All right, so for the assignment, can you pull it up on your screen?
Yes, I can.
Assignment? Awesome. All right, so we did show, Chef did show some examples of some restaurants. And so it's basically kind of what we just did there. There's some examples of, there's a name of a restaurant, and then there's a little bit of information about each one. And then for each of those 3 restaurants that are in the assignment, you have to tell me what type of menu each one would use. But there's 2 parts. You also have to make sure to tell me why. Don't just say, well, I think this restaurant would use a cycle menu and leave it at that. Why do you say, or what is your opinion? Why would that particular restaurant. So like when we talked about the Irish pub, and you might say that you think they would have a du jour menu. That's if that's what you believe, you need to explain it, like kind of back up your answer. So is there right or wrong answers for this particular assignment? Yes and no. It's basically your understanding the information and being able to justify the answer. But you can't justify if you don't tell me why, right? So that's probably the most important. One single word in this whole assignment is that last little why, right there at the end. All right, so does that make sense? Anybody got any questions? Hands up.
Because remember, guys, you got to look at it and always look at it like this, that you are talking to an investor. How are you going to get my money as I'm your investor? How are you going to get my money? So you have that concept, but that's where, and a lot of times with investors, they're going to be reading your pitch. You're not going to be able to initially have that first one-on-one presentation. They're going to read what your concept is first. So they want to know what the concept was and then why you decided to go that route. So it's very important to think of it like we're investors. We are the ones that are going to give you money. How are you going to get my money? So now, who has questions about this part of the assignment?
Potentially stupid one right here. These are made up places, correct?
Yes, they are. And there are no stupid questions. I may give you a stupid answer, but there are no stupid questions.
I was about to dive off into some research and I was going to Google and yeah, I'm sorry. So
I think
no, you are good.
Save me a little time. Explained it the best here too. It might be best to kind of approach this as if each of these were your business. And maybe you were going to have to pitch, Trinity, a fine dining restaurant, and have to explain maybe to an investor or a bank. And they say, well, tell us about the type of menu that you use, so maybe that's a really good approach to take for this. Kind of really make it your own to kind of be able to explain the type of menu and why.
Exactly. Now, does anybody have questions? Anybody got questions? Now remember, when you're looking at menu design and you're trying to figure out your concept, you have to also make certain that it's consistent from, like I said before, from your phone to your actual restaurant, food truck, whatever it's going to be. It needs to be consistent throughout because you want to make certain that all the different social media platforms, whatever type of marketing you're going to do, that's all going to go back to how you are going to market your place, how you're going to actually price out your menu options, all of that great stuff. Now, if I go back to our delightful slide that I'm going to pull up for you guys some awesome menu. Oh, here we go. Haha. No, hold on. Technical difficulties, but I'll get it. I always do. Haha. Right?
Well, Chef is looking at that. I know some folks are having a hard time hearing me. So if you do have any questions about the assignment, always feel free to reach out to me and also to Chef, but just feel free to reach out if you have any additional questions. And it's forming here, so maybe that's why I'm a little weird tonight. The volume, my slow.
It could be, but do not worry. So here is one place. This place is actually called Bar Masa. If you guys know this, he is a like phenomenal sushi chef who is in New York City, and he has one restaurant that is like, you know, they have it all that the tasting style menu, and then they has this where everything looks nice and clean and concise, and it has all the different stuff you're looking for. And I think I just saw somebody with their hand up. Who had their hand up? I saw a little hand thingy. Who was that?
That was me.
All right, what's your question?
My question is, does it tell us how many words you want these in? How many words do you require minimum per restaurant?
There really isn't. There isn't a minimum. You just need to tell me the type, and then, you know, maybe a sentence or two on why you decided that. So there, but there's not a count or anything.
Okay, thank you.
But remember, guys, because you need to make certain that, remember, you're trying to win us over. You want our money. So how many words do you need to win me over to give you my money? Because I want to know, and I want to make certain I'm going to get my money back, right? Because that's a return on investment. How am I going to get my return on investment with the ideas that you're going to come up with for these places? Oh, other people had hands up? Go ahead.
Hey, Chef, I was just wondering, so will you post the slides on the class site?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so that we can just go back and have that for reference. And then also, when we choose our menu, do you guys want actual like food things that we would put in for the food for those, for our menus for those 3 restaurants? So like for the pastry shop, do you want to see that we would do like the croissants and pastries, but maybe like a breakfast sandwich too using the croissant?
No. For this particular assignment, you're just going to tell the type of menu that you think each one would have and why you think that business would have that type of menu for each of those 3.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Who else had their hand up?
I did.
Okay, perfect.
Hey, so I was so excited that I went ahead and did my homework already. But I wasn't like trying to pitch any of those restaurants. I was just trying to just break it down or how I saw what style of menu I thought they would have. So, I mean, of course, I should probably have some more time to redo it if need be. But
absolutely,
I mean,
you can go back and adjust your assignment.
Right, exactly. So that's why I was just like, with our other classes, they kept saying, you know, don't look into it so much. Don't put, you know, like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I wasn't trying to pitch any of the restaurants, but, you know, I just kind of just thought in a general way that what I thought that they would be.
Yeah, and then, you know, definitely, you know, if you want to resubmit, you obviously can, as Chef Suzanne said, so do not worry. It's early, that's why it's great, right? Because these aren't due yet, so you're good to go. And then who else? Erica, what was your question?
Hey, so I've been listening online. I'm listening to y'all, and my question was, when y'all doing the menu, especially if you're doing catering, I know catering, you can have a menu, but you're doing the menu of what the person wants to eat. Does it just change all the time like that when you're doing catering business?
You know, and it kind of depends on the style of catering business you do, because, you know, most catering companies will have that set menu that you choose from. And they can kind of tweak it to what, if you're looking for something similar, they may tweak it, but for the majority of the time, they can say, here is our menu. These are the options you get to choose.
Okay.
And then they'll choose. Is that the same with you as when you did catering, Chef Suzanne?
Yes, there's almost always a base menu, something to start with, so that you've got something to give out to potential customers or have posted online, just as a starting point so that people can see what you typically make or typically serve. But obviously, yeah, the sky's the limit. You know, you're going to do whatever that particular guest is going to want, but a base menu gives a starting point also for customers to see what you leave out if they're even interested. You normally want to have a starter menu, like just a basic menu.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome.
Yeah, no problem. Mandy, what was your question?
Well, I have it's kind of to do with the assignment and kind of not, but it's a question. No, what I wanted to know was when you're dealing with menus and how they're laid out oh my word, it just went out of my head. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
I had a brain hiccup.
That's okay. I've had baby brain for like 4 years now, so it happens.
Oh, bless you. I can only blame my cat. I can't even blame a baby. I can blame moving. Does that count?
That counts.
I have moving brain. So you're talking about the different types of menus and a menu du jour. My idea was kind of a combination of things, and I didn't know if it's even possible. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I'll write this down. That way I can be a little more intelligent the next time I talk out loud. I'm sorry.
No, but you're fine. But that's the key. Like, write it down. And when you guys are doing these assignments too, don't forget, have people look it over for you. I have my sister look over my stuff all the time. That's what like sisters are for. That's what and she has her PhD. So I'm like, yeah, you got this. Like, just look over my stuff. Make sure I didn't, instead of putting salmon, I put Solomon, which, you know, Solomon's the king of one of the kings of Israel, but he is not a dish on my menu. So, you know, have people look it over, because sometimes Word doesn't pick up on certain words because you did in fact spell them correctly. But
Right.
you know, and saying it out loud, that also helps too, like actually saying the words out loud. But I'm a big fan, and I make my husband read all my stuff too, because I'm like, haha, this is what you married into, this is what you have to deal with now. And then just to make sure everything makes sense. So it's great to write stuff down, because you want to make certain that you have all of your thoughts the way that you want it to be and how you want to present it.
Yeah, as soon as I can find my notebook, I'll start making notes during class. It's in a box in the other room somewhere.
No, that happens. Don't worry. Do not worry.
I tripped over a box of things in the kitchen and dumped a whole pan of rice pilaf a second ago, so or at the beginning of class. So yeah, it's been downhill from there.
Well, no, don't worry about it. It's all good. No.
Sorry about that.
You're good. Don't worry, Mandy. You're all good. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Now, when is your assignment due?
Tuesday.
Midnight Central Standard Time.
Exactly. Look at you guys. Look at you. You know. Who can you reach out to if you have questions?
Chef Rachel and Chef Suzanne.
Exactly. That's what we're here for, right? So want to make certain you got it. This has been a fun first class. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for being my very first class here at Escoffier. I hope I ended up doing well for you guys. If you have any questions, please let me know and let Chef Suzanne know. I'm excited for the next 6 weeks. You're going to get all sorts of fun little emails and messages from me. Did you guys enjoy the Dream Team? Did you guys like that one? Yeah. You guys saw that one? Yeah, you're going to get that from me like nonstop. I'm just going to pester you. I enjoy it. I enjoy adult conversations with, you know, and not singing the wheels on the bus go around and around 50 million times. So just get used to it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Right, Chef Susan? Yeah, wheels on the bus. Cuckoo Kangaroo, for those who know that. It's like Beastie Boys meets Sesame Street. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please let Chef Suzanne know. And thank you for our first live session. I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Thank you, Chef. It was great.
Thank you, Chef.